Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us this afternoon with Spark Your Health. We are just so honored to have you here with us for really what is a pop-up, but a very important pop-up Spark Your Health talk. So let's go ahead and get going. And again, thank you for spending your lunchtime with us. And we will be recording this event. So if you get some gems of wisdom that you want to take with you, you want to share with someone else, you will have this recording available usually about a week after the actual event. So my name is Katira Kapoor. I have the privilege of being the Senior Director of Health Promotion, Wellness, and the Spark Your Health Talk series here at the 92nd Street Y. And you were in for a treat this afternoon as we are thrilled to be with the creators of 92NY's Parkinson's exercise program, Karin, Ruhe, and Kareem Collins. So our Parkinson's exercise program is a gentle group exercise class specifically designed for people with Parkinson's disease. The emphasis is on stability, strength, gait preservation, motor coordination, and balance improvement. I would like to thank our Spark Your Health Talk series sponsor, Mount Sinai Health System, for their generous support. And keep an eye out in the chat and in our post-event communications. We have some amazing events coming up later this month that our Spark Your Health team will be dropping into the chat for you. And without further ado, I would love to start by bringing Karin onto the screen with me. Karin Ruhe has more than 2 decades of experience developing and leading group fitness programs that meet people where they are. At 92NY, she serves as Associate Director of Group Exercise, overseeing a broad schedule of 85 plus classes, really growing exponentially every week, it feels like. Her work centers on creating movement experiences that are accessible, supportive, and grounded in real-world needs. She believes exercise can be both fun and purposeful, combining an engaging yet challenging approach, which we'll talk about that more, that encourages participants to push mental boundaries and discover a new sense of their own abilities. She specializes in programming for individuals living with Parkinson's disease, osteoporosis, and fibromyalgia, with a focus on function, safety, and quality of life. So, Karin, thank you so much for being with us this afternoon. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Katira.
And then I would like to also bring forward Kareem Collins, who is a multi-sport athlete, coach, and personal trainer, and has been affiliated with the 92nd Street Y. We've been lucky for over 9 years. His specialties and client base consist of a host of training methods, such as working semi-pro basketball and soccer athletes for speed, agility, and endurance work, indoor cycling, boxing, we'll get more into boxing, strength training for both younger and older adults who just want to be able to perform their sport of choice, such as golf and skiing, just for example. He also has worked at Long Island University, where he aided in research for work for hypertension through exercise, as well as facilitating a program called Silver Sneakers, in which he worked with seniors from the community to improve quality of life prior to injuries sustained. He also works with Mount Sinai Teen Program, teen boxing, as well as fitness conditioning for young adults who are intellectually disabled. So, Kareem, thank you for all that you do. It is a pleasure to work with you and Karin, and I'm so excited to share the Spark Your Health stage with you this afternoon
Thank you for having us.
to talk about something really important and exciting that has been going on for quite some time here at the 92nd Street Y. So, and one thing I just want to pause before we jump in is that as I'm reading your bios, I'm hearing that quality of life. That quality of life comes up in both of your bios. And I'm wondering if you could just start by talking a little bit about, and this could be broad, it could, be of all the work that you do in fitness. What does that mean to you to support someone in improving their fitness, which is ultimately going to support their quality of life?
You want to go, Corinne, or should I?
Go ahead, Kareem.
So, I mean, quality of life, right? When I look at it, it's universal movements that you do pretty much every day, right? So you're sitting, you're standing, you're pushing, you're pulling, you're opening a door, you're closing a door, you're putting things on the shelf, taking things off the shelf, you're cleaning windows, right? So these are the quality of life. You're carrying bags from the supermarket, or from the car to the supermarket to the front of the house. So these are the quality of life we're looking at as far as, or implementing them into fitness. Things that you do on a daily basis, they translate through fitness and vice versa. So just to be able to do these quote unquote simple things that you don't think about on a regular basis, Just think about all the things that you do in fitness that translate into pushing, pulling, carrying, stabilizing, moving in different motions from left to right without moving your feet. These things all translate into quality of life on an everyday basis. So yeah, that's just one faction of it.
Thank you for that, Kareem. Corinne, what about you?
Well, I think I agree with everything Kareem just said. I think for me, it is also to look, what do I want from life? Sometimes people at a certain age, they feel, oh, I can't do this anymore. And the sedentary lifestyle comes in. And I think if you find something that you enjoy, it can be anything, physical, whether it's tennis or walking or swimming, it will definitely improve your quality of life because you will be more confident and able. And I think that is a big, big and important aspect of maturing, how I prefer to say, as we go through life and don't give up on certain things because we think, oh, now we're at a certain age, we can't do this anymore. So that adds a certain aspect to me for quality of life.
Yes. Thank you so much for both of you. And I think that's such an appropriate way to move into this conversation because it really is about quality of life and what people are capable of doing. And I think that's something that you break down every day that you're teaching the Parkinson's exercise program, is that, you may be able to push a little bit harder and you're capable of more than you think you are. So PEP is our Parkinson's exercise program here at 92Y. So I'd love to start with the why. How did this program come to be? And tell us a little bit about the program design process.
We have a long-standing partnership with Mount Sinai, and many programs have been developed here for over 20 years. I came here 20 years ago, and we already had these programs. I was directly involved in two, and the Parkinson exercise program was the latest. So basically what happened was that Mount Sinai Center of Movement Disorder, they felt they had the medical care, but exercise is proven to be very beneficial for people, for everyone, but also in particular for people with Parkinson. So they felt they didn't have anywhere to send them. And they approached us asking if we were interested in developing a program. And that's how it all started. And I took on the challenge and enjoyed it very much. And then I needed someone to do it with. And I found Kareem through Long Island University, and we have been doing it for 10 years now. I would say we were probably approached at the end of 2014 in the fall, and our first series of classes was in June 2015. So we're 10 years.
Amazing. And what I love about that is that Mount Sinai and their team had the insight to say, listen, there's research out there that's showing that exercise can support and improve the quality of life of individuals with this Parkinson's disease diagnosis. But they recognized that there was sort of a hole that needed to be filled, which is, I think, what we try to do in organizations like the 92nd Street Y is how can we serve our community? And so you absolutely dove in and filled that need clearly because you have these successful classes. So Kareem, do you have anything else to add about the program design process? Because I know that's one of the reasons that you were brought on to the team was to bring your expertise and support with what is 60 minutes going to look like when people walk through our studio door?
Right. Yeah, and Corinne was right on with everything that she said. I feel like 2015 was just so yesterday, 10 years ago. Where did that go? Yeah, so when I was brought in to help facilitate the program, it was a big brainstorm, right? We really wanted to not just have it, excuse me, quote unquote, the general fitness class for this particular group. So we really delved in to say, okay, what is Parkinson's really affecting and how it affects individuals? Because we know it's going to affect everyone a little bit differently. And with this difference for everyone in whatever capacity, how can we use that and make that part of the curriculum without making it seem too general? So we sat down and literally just threw words and things at the wall and just broke them down. Say, okay, how we can do this and how can we do that? And we just kind of put two heads together and just made it one big idea. And it just became, in my words, it became a big art project to actually put this thing together and make it I don't want to say too different, but still recognizable to folks. Because, this entire program is based on progression, not just working out. It's you're working out, but you for yourself as a participant have to see, like, wow, I'm getting better at something, right? So you're doing all these modalities, but we also want to see you as the person feel like, oh wow, I'm getting this. So I think that's how we facilitated this program. It was just putting things together, things that we already knew, and just putting it in this bowl of fitness stew and broadcasting it a little bit differently. And yeah, 10 years later, we've got something that's really hitting. Things, of course, are recycled, but in different capacities, different variables. Um, yeah,
Yeah.
I think that is really it.
Yeah, no, thank you for saying that because you sort of read my mind. I was going to ask, and this is for both of you, especially in the beginning, were there tweaks? Were there things that you said, we experimented with this, it turned out to not be the right fit? Have you sort of seen a little bit of an evolution of the program, or did you just knock it out of the park on the first day and haven't really had to change much at all?
Uh, a lot of tweaks. I mean, because everybody in the program is different. Kareem, you can definitely piggyback on this, because everyone is not able to stand at their best. Everyone's not able to walk at their best. Everyone's posture is not the best. So you've got a class of, I think the largest class we had about, what, 15, 18 people?
22.
22. So there we go, right? So we really have an audience. All we needed was the stage. And you're looking at all these different personalities, different body types, short, medium, small, and you're going, whoa, something's got to give here. So we don't actually do it, but it's kind of like two twins. You're thinking the same thing, going, Kareem, yeah, I know. We've got to tweak this a little bit. So yeah, definitely a lot of tweaking. I can't say we rightfully hit everything out the ballpark, but when you're able to think quick, see things quickly, and then shuffle the card deck and then put them out on the table. Yeah, we made it work. We made it work. Fun
You
stuff.
adapt as you go. Exactly.
Well, I would like to add something. I think it's always a work in progress. I teach classes also, aside from being the associate director of group exercise. And what my goal is always, there's always room for improvement for the participant, but also for me. If I stop, it's not going to be alive anymore, not lively. And I hope I will never stop. I would hope I would always try to improve. It doesn't have to be impeccable, but there is always room for improvement in the best possible sense. So I think one of the main aspects that I also want my instructors to do and that I ask for myself is modifications. Whether it's the Parkinson disease class or any other class, give people options here. Because not everybody is at the same level at the same time. So that was a little bit of, we had to figure this out with them maybe in a little bit different way, because some of them were not confident they could even do it. So there comes another layer into the whole work with people with Parkinson, which is more on the emotional side, giving them the safety and that they start to trust us. And that's a big component, that we take care of them, that they are safe and that we are in their corner.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad you brought up that word emotional, because one of the things that I wanted to ask you about is a little bit about your philosophical approach, you could say, to how you instruct your very special community in the Parkinson's exercise program, because both of you work with a wide range of populations. And so I'm sure there are individuals that you push extremely hard. If you know Kareem, you said semi-pro basketball, elite athletes, even people who are doing exercise recreationally. So talk to me a little bit about how your philosophy and teaching, how you approach the Parkinson's exercise program and the participants.
For me, it's to connect with the person. That's in general my approach, to see the person. I want people to be seen, so I can really help them to address certain issues that I may be able to help them with and support them with. They have to do the work. So the second aspect for me is to instill confidence that they can actually do it. And it's one little step at a time. Maybe not today, but come back, try again tomorrow. So we don't have to go from 0 to 100. Try 5, then 10. So, but the personalized approach is for me important, because I feel that's how you can connect. There is so much limitation in limited self-belief, in particular if you're diagnosed with something like Parkinson or any other condition that has a big impact on you. You start to doubt, and everybody's trying to take care of you. They have all good intentions, but you kind of lose your autonomy a little bit, and everybody gets a little smaller. We want them to lift themselves up again and walk around proud, because they're not just patients. They can also be athletes. And I mean, there's a different level of athletes, so that's what I find very, very important. And then we tailor it, of course, to the group.
No, thank you. I love the personalized approach. I think that's very unique and very important for both of you doing that. Kareem, do you have anything to add about your philosophy there?
Yeah, and I think it mirrors Corinne's like spot on. Being having them, I like them to be present in the moment, right? So you encourage them to be present in that moment, and being present in that moment means first and foremost you showed up, right? You are in this place. You may not feel you're 100%. No one's really there 100%. This is real life, right? No lollipopping that, but you're here, and you're just going to do your best part of what you can do in this present moment. Two, and this is where the artistics comes in the way I think. Two, like Corinne said, you can be anything you want to be as far as what this program is and what fitness is. It's like acting. Actors are who they are in whatever movie and whatever script that they're in. Okay, so you were a doctor at one point. I don't need you to be a doctor today. I need you to be whatever superhero you glorified as a kid. Use that past memory and become that superhero now. And whatever energy that you have right now, I need you to knock out this particular exercise. That's being present in that moment. That's being you, who you want to be in that moment, and you execute the best way you can. We are not looking for your 100%, because you're not going to be that every single day, but you are who you are now in this present moment, whatever energy level that you have, knock over this wall, right? So I think that's the philosophy in that part. Be who you want to be in this point, do what you can at this point, execute as best as you can, and just be present in this moment.
I hope that everyone just saves what Karin and Kareem just said and just plays that every morning, because talk about motivational. I think we all probably want to move a little bit right now. So I'm going to spice up the format a little bit. I was going to remind our audience that you can go ahead and enter questions into the chat. We usually save them for the end, but we have one that came through that's pretty relevant to what we're talking about right now. So we'll just jump in. So have you had any experience with motivation of PEP participants? So if they are having a hard time with motivation on that particular day, how do you help people overcome the mental barrier to either starting the program or sticking with the program on the days that are a little tougher?
Well, what I see, and you can feel it, if you're sensitive enough, which I think we are, or you can see if somebody is not feeling so hot that day. So I usually, depending on what I'm doing, I go over and tell them, you're not feeling so great today. They go like this and that. And then I encourage them to do just a little bit. Don't do 10, do 2. Take a break and then do another 2. See how that feels. Don't check out. Stay present, as Karim said before. Stay present. If you cannot march in place, sit down, move your feet a little bit. Okay. And it will make you feel better. Showing up is the hardest part. And I have to say, rain or shine, all participants show up. It's absolutely amazing. So that's
How could they not with everything with everything you're both saying? Kareem, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, maybe just a little bit. I mean, and again, like a lot of things where myself and Karin are going to say, you'll see how these things correlate. It's like not even yin and yang. It's like a dragon and dragon going right into that circle, right? But everybody's feeling is different on a particular day, whether they're kind of there or not. My approach, a lot of times, I don't know how to do it. Please, people, don't ask me how it is I get them to do. I just get people to smile sometimes, right? And just the notion of smiling, it does a lot for your entire nervous system. Like things are just so much more relaxed and decompressed and just in such a chill moment. The fact that you're able to smile, right? Things just kind of like overlap. So smiling invokes a lot more motion somehow or the other. So you hear music in the background, you're smiling, you don't know it, but at some point your head starts to move, or you're probably just snapping your fingers, or you're just tapping your hand on your thigh. And I'm like, okay, so you've got this. You're doing all of this. Put some action to your feet. So you got the tapping going on. You're not doing everything that everybody else does. We don't really care about that. We just want you to move and want you to feel good. And you're tapping those hands on your thighs, and the feet starting to go. And look, stick with that. You've got 2 more minutes of this. Stick with that. If you want to go a little bit faster, thumbs up, keep going, but don't stop. And little by little, you feel like things start feeling different inside, and that translates outside. And before you know it, look, this person is already into the rest of the class and doing everything else that everybody else is doing. And boom, we've got motion.
Yes. Well, I want to take a step back to our program design again and see, as you embarked on that journey of building out the design that you now deliver, every single week, was there anything that surprised you about creating exercise programming for individuals that have been diagnosed with Parkinson's? Anything that you maybe learned or weren't aware of prior to starting?
I think for me, the whole thing was right, almost sensory overload, because at the time, the only thing I knew about Parkinson's disease was Michael J. Fox and Muhammad Ali, right? And these are 2 individuals from 2 completely different walks of life. One's an actor, one's the athlete. And you're going, well, wow, how did this even happen to the both of them? So when people look at Muhammad Ali, they always say, oh, it was the boxing, it was the boxing, it was the boxing. I was like, no, you can't put your eggs in that basket 100%, because Michael J. Fox is an actor, never took a punch in his life. Maybe, we don't know, but we always saw him on TV, Marty McFly, right? So you can't really say it was the punching. What, does acting cause you to have Parkinson's too? Absolutely not. So, I mean, I was blown away at the 2 different occupational lives. Mm-hmm. So looking into it and just kind of understanding Parkinson's and how it could develop in so many different ways, yeah, it definitely blew me away, because it was a brand new learning curve, right? And with this brand new learning curve, it saying to yourself, okay, how do I understand this? And now I understand it doesn't have to be you taking punches or you doing this, because a lot of it is also genetically enhanced as well. How do you learn this and put it together where it doesn't separate this group from this group, but everybody's still following on the same thing, knowing that, okay, I'm not dealing with this because of this, or I'm not dealing with this because of this. So I think that was the most fascinating part of it, was just knowing it wasn't just coming from one particular direction. It is just out there and it can happen, So yeah, like I said, it was just a brand new thing for me to learn. And that was exciting. A little bit nervous as well, but I think it was more excitement for me.
Karin, what about you? Thank you, Kareem.
I would say the commitment they developed really, really impressed me.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily surprised me, but, it's very consistent. And even when they go through exercises and you can tell they're tired, they may stop for a moment, but they keep going, they keep going, they keep going, they stop, they keep going. So there is this determination to do it. I think one of the major points for us to get this accomplished is the personal connection. So when I meet people for a pre-interview, for example, I try to connect with them on a very personal level. I speak to them, I ask them, how do you feel? How has this affected you? We do some exercise to see where they're at, just so we can figure out how we can support them. And I think for most of them, it is, you think I can do that? Really? Oh, I thought this was it. And it's there is some glimpse of hope, somebody who is in your corner, which I make very clear that we are, that we're very supportive. And I think that has really impressed me very much. And people work at times beyond their capacities or their limited self-beliefs. And I find this absolutely astonishing and wonderful, really.
I'm sure the resilience that you've seen in your cohorts has been astonishing. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. So you both mentioned the word progression. So I'd love if you could talk a little bit about, someone who maybe doesn't know about Parkinson's exercise program. What is the course designed? How is it set up? Is it meant that one of your community members would come through the class one time and then continue on their own accord in the gym? Or is it really meant to be repeated because you're constantly innovating? And I know you mentioned modifications and different options. So walk us through that piece of the design.
Sure. So usually, people come for a pre-interview with me, and I try to get to know a little bit better their condition, where they're at. Some people have had it for a while, others just jump on it right away. I was diagnosed last week and I'm like, wow, very impressed, because it's not an easy thing to do, and it's very hard to deal with this. It's not an easy thing to hear from your doctor because you have all these thoughts, what will happen next, and it may not. We don't know that. So, I meet them, they fill out a little questionnaire, nothing major. And then I do a couple of exercises, as I mentioned, a little strength exercise, balance, a little flexibility, just to see how they are. And then I sit down and talk with them. And so basically we offer the class twice a week. And people usually want to come once a week. Some are very already had made a decision and they could want to say, oh, I want to sign up for both. But usually they come once a week, and really just after a little while, they want to come twice a week. And for the most part, Kareem, I think, I hope you can agree with that. For the most part, somebody comes in for the first time and then afterwards, I loved it, and it was maybe not the easiest thing for them to do, but I think it's the combination of how we have structured the class. The first part is usually like a movement. We play a little music to get everybody in a light mood, set the stage, and then we do marching in place, toe taps, side taps, etc., etc. And that's usually what I do. I give options. If today is not so good for you, then you do this instead. We do a lot of coordination things, hand up, hand down, left, right, double. It's challenging for me too, by the way. So it's not that it's for everybody. And then we go over, and then we do sometimes some strength work with the Dynabands, or we do balance work, of course, supported, next to the wall, chair, etc. And then we go on to the second part, which is the non-contact boxing that Kareem provides.
And Kareem, that's the perfect segue. Can you tell us a little bit about why boxing, and walk us through a little bit of what that looks like? Because it might sound intimidating to some, but I've seen you walk the class through it, and it's very elegant and non-intimidating.
Sure, Kat. Listen, ladies and gentlemen, sit back, grab a cup. Let's go into this, right? Let's have some fun. Boxing, yeah. So boxing is one of those sports where it's probably one of the few sports that you use your entire body, either in motion or not. So it really generates, and I was trying to say this earlier today, multiplanar motion. I said that correctly, right? I want to make a fool of me.
Got it.
But it really does that. And then it invokes a lot of core activation as well. So when I say core, ladies and gentlemen, your abdominal structure, right? So you're moving from left to right, you're kind of pivoting and swiveling, you're moving up and down. So it's a lot of leg balance and hip stability is in there as well when you're ducking and moving side to side. The throwing of punches is what everyone is already familiar with because it's the most superficial part of it. But unknowingly, these gloves, they weigh ounces, right? Light ounces, but these ounces add up when you've got these arms in motion. So 16 ounces, 14 ounces quickly develop and feel like 14 or 1600 pounds. So with this, moving these arms back and forth, it also forces you not to tip forward, which again comes with the stability from the ankles, stability and strength from your legs, the stability and mobility of the hips, the stability and trunk mobility of your thoracic area, and then the dexterity of the hands, depending if you're punching on something or not, the hand-eye coordination from there. So posture is a big pivotal thing in there. Your movement is a big pivotal thing in there. Your stability, your balance is in there. Your respiration is in there because, ladies and gents, don't forget you have to breathe with everything, right? So you always want to breathe while you're doing these things. But I think that's the general surface level of the boxing. As far as that aspect goes, the other aspect is it's a great stress reliever, right? For everyone. I mean, Parkinson's, yes, we use it for that, but for everyone, folks, it just makes you feel like after. You don't know what someone's going through on a day-to-day basis, but you can see someone walking down the street, through the halls, whatever, and they got this grimace on their face and everything just looks like concrete about them. You put them in a room with someone or by themselves and you hang a bag in there and just let them go hands to bag and just let everything off, that person becomes the most colorful thing on the face of the planet. They are just so much more at ease with everything. And I guess there's no other way to say it. It's just so much more at ease, so much more relaxed. You just see everything just fall off their shoulders. A different person, a different personality, and just a different attitude when you put these gloves on and you get to going. But I think the ambiance too is when you wrap your hands and you put these gloves on, you just feel, here comes the artistic part again. You just feel like, oh my gosh, I am about to fight. I don't know what I'm fighting. I don't know who I'm fighting. Hopefully I'm not fighting anybody, but these gloves, this ambiance of just putting these things on, you go, first thing someone's going to tell you is, I feel like a boxer. Right? Is that I feel great. I feel strong. I feel so empowered. Is that I feel moment. It's kind of like, good. Now you stay there. You stay
Yes.
there. Right. And as you stay there in that I feel moment, follow me through these moments, these movements with your I feel moment. Keep your foot on that pedal. And as you keep that foot on your pedal, it also allows you to not overthink and overanalyze anything. Your body is such a free flow moment. It's just now you're just expressing yourself through all these motions, all these modalities, however I need you to go forward, back, side to side, roll, duck, pivot, do whatever it is. Stay in that I feel moment. And 165, 95% that I feel moment translate into everything else that you don't even realize that you're translating into. Uh, and again, going back to that whole stress relieving point, you stop for a minute and they go, I feel great. Good, stay there. Don't lose it. Don't lose it. All right. So all these different applications of boxing in this one handful, that's what you're getting with boxing. Right. And I feel like that's what our participants at the PEP program, this is what they're getting. They're not doing everything right. We don't care. The thing is, we just don't want them falling on themselves or tripping over themselves or falling over someone else or falling over, God forbid, a chair or anything like that. So that's what I'm getting at when I say they're in that I feel moment, that the balance, that stability, that that mobility, that dexterity, all these things in one shot. That's what our folks feel at that point.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, incredible response. But I mean, I think that energy that you're talking about that builds up in the space with the boxing, and it's like, many other forms of exercise, everyone has their own preferences, but that energy from the boxing that you're talking about, I can completely see how that may translate into the rest of an individual's day or week. It's like, if you can conquer this workout in this moment, man, I can conquer anything. So I'm wondering if you can both speak about, and Karim, maybe you can start us off, if you could talk a little bit about the mental health component and confidence, how that plays into folks that you're seeing in the class, and maybe if you've seen any improvements that you feel have come from their participation with you.
Yeah, definitely. I think there is a big component of feeling completely isolated and depressed. It's just part of the condition, that can easily take over. And that you, again, lose a little bit of your autonomy because people start caring for you. And again, sometimes maybe a little bit too much out of concern. Absolutely understandable. I think from what I have experienced the last 10 years doing this, aside from the actual exercises and the benefit, and we can see people have increased their balance, strength, coordination. The confidence that you mentioned earlier is one of the biggest wins I would see. It is that they don't feel alone. You're in a community. Parkinson manifests itself very differently in each individual, and what happens to one person does not need to happen to somebody else. It's just an unknown component here. However, they have similar things which overlap. And I think that's where the connection also comes in, and they become friends. They go for coffee, they talk on the phone. Not that you have to, but it's a wonderful aspect. Somebody hasn't been there. Where is so-and-so? So there is this connection that makes you feel I'm not alone. I have people who understand, who know what this feels like, and I think that has instilled so much confidence in many of them and self-esteem and makes them walk a little taller because they have other people and they have us. That's without a doubt. We make this very clear that we are behind them 100% and we're there if they need us. But I think that's one of the things they think, oh, I can do that. I can actually do that. To remove these limiting self-beliefs. I think that's a wonderful aspect of the program.
Absolutely. Kareem, do you have anything to add when it comes to mental health and confidence? Anything that you've witnessed?
Yeah, I think Karin got it, but it definitely, I don't know if you mentioned anything about depression, Karin. Did you? Yes.
The what?
Depression?
Yes.
Yeah.
Touched upon it.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the biggest things, just having, and I'll never want to say we're fixing anything, but it definitely is a segue into minimizing that side of things, So yeah, just having a sense of community and having, if not the entire class or us, someone else who's dealing with the same issues or something close in that aspect, have someone like that to speak to, because you can relate to each other, right? We're just here as the Jiminy Crickets kind of leading you along, but they can relate more to each other because they are dealing with this. So that depressive state, you can definitely see uplifts in people. You definitely see that. Sleep deprivation, that's a big thing as well. So I think the more they get into what we have going on and whatever else is out there, like the fact that you are staying consistent with these things, it helps to navigate away from all these negative side effects from PD in itself. So, I think on the surface level, that is definitely a compliment to what we have as far as the mental aspect of it.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, it helps to make people feel a lot more happy. People that we've never seen smile from day one, smiling now, and that's a big uplift.
That must feel like a win for both, for both you as the instructors and for the patron who's coming through the program.
Yeah,
So,
plant the flag, keep smiling.
yes.
Yeah, and this is one, we laugh a lot in class. We have really a good time. It's not a grim exercise class. We actually have a good time, and we have very witty people in class, so they entertain us as well. Yeah, it's wonderful, wonderful.
I love it. So let's talk about, we're going to shift a little bit. And can you tell me if there's any moves or types of exercises that you tend to stay away from in the Parkinson's exercise program? And I understand that it's different for every person who walks through your doors, but generally speaking, are there any contraindications or any skills that you just say we probably shouldn't go there right now?
I think again, it's really what matters most is the individual. If somebody has lower back issues, I wouldn't advise them to twist, stuff like that. But we always set it up in a way that it's safe. And we also we want to set them up for success. So that is one of the main components. You want to offer something in regards of an exercise to somebody that they can do in some kind of way, and that's where the modifications come in. So I would say in general, not, however, we always provide a safe environment, so people are stable. If we feel like, oh, this Dynabend is a little hard because it seems to affect your shoulders, we suggest another one, but if we also try to encourage to try maybe a little more next time, if we feel the form can still be helped, which is very important. It's all about the form, so they don't hurt themselves and get the benefit of the exercise. However, from my perspective, I would say no. We don't stay away from anything.
Karin, I feel like you just did some myth busting for us on Spark Your Health, because I'd imagine people out there may think, with this diagnosis, maybe I'm supposed to stay away from exercise. And what you're saying is, actually lean into it. And Kareem, that seems to
absolutely
be you're saying
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, also it's scientifically proven that, I'm sorry.
Sorry, I think there was a little lag there. Go ahead, you can finish, Karin.
Okay, thank you. Well, I think it's actually the opposite. Keep moving. And if you haven't moved before, start moving. It is very, very important, because not only will you benefit from it, it also takes you out of your head. And, if you feel better, then you also perform better. You don't have so many question marks anymore. Can I do it? So the iffy part and the self-doubt goes out a little bit. So I think I would invite everyone to do something they enjoy. I think the worst case is to sit at home on your couch, and it's very isolating. And I think that is very important, that people understand they can do things. They actually can. No matter where you're at, we find something for you. Don't you worry. We do. We teach from the heart, So it's very important to us that we find something for everyone to do and participate and be an equal member of the group.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that you're encouraging at every level. We will find a way for you to succeed and to feel better. And like you said, even if it's just 1% that day, the benefits of that exercise will accumulate. Kareem, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I mean, that sums it up. I mean, everything Karin said is what we said from earlier. It's just being present in that moment, and doing your best capable work right here and right now with us or without us, wherever you are. So, no, that's pretty.
So just a reminder to everyone, because we are starting to wind down at this point, that please feel free to enter your questions into the chat. We're happy to get to them in the last 15 minutes here. So I am wondering from both of you if, and maybe, you both received the same, I'm wondering if there's any frequently asked questions that you would like to take an opportunity to address. Any questions that you sort of hear, when you have somebody new joining the class on a regular basis that you feel like, I'd love the opportunity to get that out into the world, whatever those FAQs may be?
Yeah, I would say from my experience meeting people, it's mainly, do you think I can do this? Or I cannot do this, I cannot do that, I cannot do this. And I go, okay, but you can do this, this, and that. So, to suggest something else that goes maybe a little bit beyond the imagination, because there's sometimes a very set understanding of what exercise actually is. First of all, it's never fun. I totally disagree. Exercise can be fun and purposeful. You can see how you support somebody and challenge them at the same time, not over challenge them, so they feel like lost or like going in a defense mode, but to encourage. And I think that is one of the things that I hear a lot, the self-doubt, the fear, really. Will I be safe? And then once we talk a little bit, the person kind of you comes out of this, I call it fog. And they start to remember who they, there is a saying, I have Parkinson, but Parkinson does not have me. And that's a big statement. I can totally understand that this is real.
Thank you, Karin. You froze for a minute there.
I think Katara is frozen.
But we got your audio, so that was great. Thank you. Kareem, any other FAQs on your end?
I usually my questions are usually, or responses are usually on the flip side. I usually get the individuals that, one, they've never tried it before, but they come in the door and they say, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this. I'm like, well, first and foremost, let's backtrack. How did you get here? How did you get here? And I took a cab. So you took a cab. How did you get in the cab? Well, I said, break it down for me. Well, yeah, we know you had help, but how did you get into the cab? And they tell me exactly step by step. Well, I put this foot in and this, and then I close it. I said, you closed the door. Okay. So you got here through a cab. How did you get out the cab? And they break it down for me again. I said, okay, so how did you make it to the class? Well, I walked. Well, before you walk, what did you have to do? Because you have to take the elevator, right? And they're breaking this down. It's like, okay, great. I said, well, when you got here, what else did you do? I sat down. I said, oh, you sat down. And how did you get up? Well, I stood up. I was, well, look, you can't tell me you can't do a squat because you sat down and you stood up. And did you do it by yourself? No one helped you? No one helped me. So don't tell me you can't do a squat. You just, picked yourself out the lineup and you just made it all real for yourself. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to stop navigating away from the things that you say that you can't do because you never tried it, and just keep an open mind to it. So, well, that's how I catch them in the first place, right? Just go fishing and just reel them on in. But I usually get those questions. I can't before they even try. And when they do that, I say, look, just navigate away from all that I can't and try something first before, you just dismiss yourself from the whole thing. So yeah, my questions and responses are different from people on that aspect of it.
No, but I love that you're both breaking it down. You're breaking the steps down, and let's lean into what you are doing, right? And sort of working to change that mindset. So I'd imagine just getting an hour with you both must be pretty powerful for those participants that are working with you. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about balance a little bit, because balance is incredibly important. It can really be a lifesaver, quite literally. So tell me a little bit about how your program design supports individuals to walk out of your class and be more balanced in their everyday life.
So we do balance exercises, and balance is in general a very important aspect as we mature. And we lose balance quite early on if we don't pay attention to it. And then one day you feel like, oh my God, I can't stand on one leg anymore. The good thing is you can recreate balance. So this is one of my special projects that I've been doing here at the 90 seconds required for quite a while. And I've seen people improve. I really have seen it. And with our participants in the Parkinson program, we do standing on one leg, holding on to something, okay, and do exercises against the wall, stuff like this. And I would say I have seen people being more stable after a while. And that's one of the aspects where I can really say certain things can be improved, like strength, flexibility, balance, and some other things can be prolonged, not to decrease, and so overall people feel they are longer at the same state, of their condition. So that's what I see mainly, and that's what we do. And I'm sure Kareem can say a lot of balance in boxing.
Go right ahead.
A lot of balancing boxing for sure. As far as the balance, though, it's part of the curriculum for this program. And Corinne, again, she hit it right on the head. My take on it when developing the balancing exercises, it's a lot of imagery and bringing that imagery into fruition to your physical application. So there's times where I'm either working with the group or with an individual, and I tell them to pick a scene in your head. Maybe you're going up some stairs, maybe you're walking up a hill. And if you're walking up a hill, make it be as a pleasurable sight as possible. And you got to think, what are your legs doing? Right? They're picking it up, you're lifting one foot in front of the other. So I say, pick a leg, choose a leg right about now, keep that same imagery in your head, and lift the leg of choice as high as you can possibly get without leaning back or toppling forward. And when you get it to that height, hold it there. Keep looking at that imagery in your head. So I give them something to focus on, because a lot of times folks want to do this, look at their feet like they don't know what their feet look like, or look at the ground like that's going to help. No, look at the imagery that's in front of you. And then imagine putting one foot in front of the other. And when I say hold it, I want you to hold that foot there, but don't lose sight of the scenery that's in front of you. Then I ask them to switch. And I ask them to switch. Now I need you to alternate. Left, right, left, right. Don't lose the imagery. Still hold your same posture. Don't do it fast. Just do it as you can do it without losing your balance. And that's how you cycle it through the nervous system. And they go, oh, wow, yes, right? I'm marching. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. And I'm not falling. Okay, great. Relax. All right. So that is my approach in the program on how I like folks to really focus in on the balance, but still keeping your posture up and still keeping an open mind to using your imagination.
Yes.
You know?
And I feel like, we never see, thankfully, the accidents that never happen.
Right.
Right. So that's basically what you're lining your participants up for, I feel like, is that the accident that could have happened, the ice they could have slipped on, or that moment they could have gotten off balance stepping into a cab, you're working preventatively and proactively to help make sure that doesn't happen. Right. So that's huge. I'm wondering, as we start to wind down here, if there are any tips just from your background in exercise in general, any tips you'd like to leave our audience with? Is there anything that you feel like you can leave them with that they could try on their own?
Try on their own.
And Karin, I know we had talked about this a little bit in preparation, and we've alluded to it a few times in this talk.
Yes, I think one of the things is keep moving. Whatever you can do, whether it's with a walker, you can walk by yourself, you go with a cane, keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. If you are in a wheelchair, just keep moving with your upper body. You can probably still move your legs to some degree, Don't forget that your body is there to move, not to sit still all the time. That's the function of the body. I mean, now when we talk, we gesture and all these things, so we're not a robot, right? So, and the other thing is, don't doubt that you can do things. I know that's easier said than done. So that's where we come in, hopefully support the person who wants to be part of this. And stay present. In our mind, I think as humans, we always go to the worst case scenario. That's just one of our things. And some people can control it better than others. But there is this thing, what if, if I can't, that's not where you're at. Stay here. What can you do now? And where can you get some support? It's always easier, to be with people who help you navigate what you can do. And, no strings attached. It's just easier. We as humans, we are social beings. So we strive when we are with others, and also others who understand our condition or our situation more. So I would say that don't isolate. I know that's a big task, try to stay present, try to stay aware, and look what you actually can do. And if there's a way that you can improve it a little bit or add other things to it, it's like a recipe. When you start cooking, you may do just spaghetti. And then as you go on, you may try to find something else, so the appetite comes with it, So that's how I like to look at it.
Yes, thank you for that. And I do think everything that you've both said about exercise, it falls right in line with what you're saying about being in the present moment, because it takes some brain power to be moving, right? We need to be focused on where our hand is going and where our leg is going. And so I think exercise just is a beautiful example of your point of, if you need to become present, movement may be a vessel to help get you there. Kareem, do you have any other parting tips for our audience today?
No, I mean, Corinne said it. I mean, time and time again, we said being in the moment, staying present, right? But also trust yourself, right? Individually or with the helping aid or loved one that you're with. Trust yourself to do not a lot, but a little. Trust yourself to do that first and foremost, right? It's like you've got to believe in you first before anyone else. And I mean, everyone else can believe in you, but it's not the same thing. Like, you are who you are. You know what you can do. You know what you probably can or cannot do, but you have to find that belief in self to say, you know what, I'm doing this today. That's what I'm doing. And if Jack or Roger wants to come with me, that's absolutely fine. But I'm doing this and I'm going to complete this, however small or however big. I've got to do it. So trusting yourself first, and then you execute as you see fit to execute, and watch your support system follow right behind you. But it's all you first.
Yes. And I think, Parkinson's exercise program and exercise, it's all about trying. And through that trying, if you've lost a little bit of that belief in yourself, I think you can re-find it. So, Karin and Kareem, it has been an absolute pleasure talking with you about this program. You just exude passion about what you do. And I wish we could just continue chatting about this all day long. But thank you again for everything you do at the 92nd Street Y, for this program development. And we look forward to years to come of you delivering this program and helping so many individuals in the area and beyond.
Thank you for having us. It was a pleasure.
Welcome. Stay well, everyone. Thank you so much for being with us.
Bye-bye.